Hello and welcome to a new episode of Today and Tomorrow. Today we're exploring the transformative role of technology in healthcare. In a world where access to medical services can be limited, especially in low resource settings, innovations are breaking down barriers and offering new hope. And that is what our guest today is offering as well. But before we introduce her, a wonderful good day, good morning in this case to Dieter as well. Hi, Dieter. Nice to see you again.
Hi, and it's really great to have you all together here and to talk about really an important issue. And what's for me is even more important. I always had a big favor for Africa, and when we launched the Holistic World Innovation Trophy 4 years ago, we always also, of course, had African representatives, and we are trying to get African candidates, and it never worked out. But now in the fourth season, suddenly out of out of three shortlisted candidates, two were from Africa, and in the end, we have one laureate, the laureate even coming from Africa. So I feel that this is a big milestone, and it also shows the huge potential the African continent has. And I'm really happy, Olivia Koburongo from MamaOpe, that you not only accepted this award, but also that you're having a great product. I hope you will talk about, you will tell us all about now.
But but first of all, tell us all about you. Who are you? Where do you come from? What is your background? What makes you tick? This would be a very interesting question as well. So welcome, Olivia.
Oh, sure. Thank you, Alexander. Thank you, Data. It is an honor and a privilege to be on this podcast, uh, and an honor to receive the award just about 2 weeks ago. Yeah, thank you to the jury. Thank you, Data, for recognizing the work that we are doing. So, my name is Olivia Koburongo. I am from Uganda, Africa, and I'm a telecom engineer by training, but right now I am in the innovation space in the medical world. And I have two children. I am married. I am a co-founder and a director of MamaOpe Medicals with my other two co-founders, Bess and Brian. We started this company about 7 years ago, where we are. So Mama Op Medicals is a social venture that is developing innovative health solutions for people that need them most. Basically we are giving a fair chance at life for everybody through innovation. That is what we do.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Can you tell us a little bit more about the story, the creation of MamaOpe Medicals, and about its mission?
Sure. Mama Hope Medical started in from a tragic moment in 2014. 2014, yeah, okay. The idea began in 2014 when I lost a loved one due to pneumonia complication. And what happened is, as we are in the journey of taking care of them, as we move from one health center to another, there was misdiagnosis. They are actually discharged, they go home, and the situation becomes worse. And we had to take them to like a national referral or a national hospital where they were put on oxygen support, and they never made it from there. The first presentation, the first health center diagnosed it as malaria, and then by the time it was recognized as a breathing problem with an underlying pneumonia, it was too late. So going through the events, I noticed that if maybe these health workers, if maybe these health workers were, they had tools to augment their skills, we would have had a better output. So by that time I was a student at university, I go back and talk to some of my colleagues about it. And as we transitioned from university, we started to work on this idea and doing more research about the problem. We actually found that it is not It was not just a problem in our household. It was not a problem in in Uganda or just in Africa, but we noticed that every 39 seconds, according to data from UNICEF, every 39 seconds a child dies due to pneumonia. And that is not because it is a very complicated disease, but because but it is an
Mm.
acute disease and it needs to be diagnosed in time and given the right treatment. And what is interesting is when it is diagnosed in time and treated properly, it costs less than $1 to treat. But then what happens when it is underdiagnosed or misdiagnosed? It is hard. It is first of all very expensive because that means we are going into oxygen support and stuff, which will cost up to $300, which is a lot of money for the everyday person this other side of the world. And then also yeah, the chances of them making it are low. So that is where Mama Ope came in, and our first product was the MamaOpe Pneumonia Diagnostic Aid for health workers. That is to basically augment their skills and help them to easily to automate the telling of the vital signs and the diagnosis to aid them in diagnosing pneumonia and easily treating it in time. Yeah.
Um, can you tell us a little bit more about the technology? How does it work? How does it help them? How, yeah, what happens? How can it help?
Oh, oh, okay. Yeah, so it is a wearable. We have designed a wearable device that is strapped around the chest of the patient, and then it will pick the vital signs the vital signs of the lung sounds, the heart rate, and then interpret them for respiratory rate, uh, yeah, respiratory rate, adventitious sounds, the heart rate, and then combine them with other observable symptoms such as cough, shortness of breath, and then help the health worker analyze those signs and symptoms and form a diagnosis. So it is coupled with an application that can be run on the mobile or on a tablet or or a desktop for easy to even facilitate telemedicine and to facilitate telemedicine and the recording of this data and facilitate more research and stuff like that. So it is basically a wearable that is connected to an application.
So that means
Yeah.
that it actually literally some in some remote spot a child or anybody can wear this wearable, and in Kampala back in the hospital, everything can be checked.
Yes,
Mm.
that is the idea.
Yeah, yeah, and that's I think that is a
The
very
idea.
very interesting issue, not only for Africa, and that's something that we are striving at the Holistic World Innovation Trophy. That it not has only a local impact, and even in Africa alone, it will have tremendous impact. Your wearable, I'm sure, but it also is applicable worldwide. So this shows the innovative power that also um, Africa is able to unveil, because there's a lot of talents there, and it's always great to see this talent at work.
Olivia, what was the biggest hurdle you faced in developing the wearable, the device, and how did you overcome it?
Um, I think I think the biggest hurdle has been like setting up the right team and the talent and the resources. Because us being based in okay, where we're based in Uganda, in Africa, the access to the expertise needed to develop such a technology was not easy or was not easy, and then it was very expensive. But then one
Hmm.
of the ways we have tried to overcome that was through partners. We have been blessed with many good partners who have connected us to to some of these experts at no cost, most times, or at a subsidized cost. So yeah, the expertise, the resources needed to bring this product to market, talking about quality assurance, talking about patenting, talking about research and development. Like there is a lot that goes into bringing such a product to market. and we didn't exactly have access to those resources, or let alone afford them. But the power of partnerships played a critical role.
And how did you find those partners? Did you cold call them? Did they find you and said the wearable idea is wonderful, so we want to help you? Or how did this happen?
So yeah, it's two-way, but I think most of it was we really made quite some noise about the work we're doing, especially in this media age, social media age, on the website,
Mhm.
on what's on Facebook, on LinkedIn. We talk about the work we are doing so much so that we can attract people who are chasing the same vision.
Mhm.
Yeah, the kinds of UNICEF, the kinds of grand challenges, Will Grow Africa. So yeah, it was more about talking and talking about the work we do and the impact that we are creating
Mhm.
every other day.
Well, there's one more thing I want to mention because Olivia was recognizing me for recognizing her and her work. Of course, I had no doing in that because we have a excellent worldwide board, jury board, and they doing all the work in finding the laureate and the shortlist. So I really need to recognize these people for doing that. They always investing a lot of work, and they're doing great work. So I just want to make sure that I'm not recognized for something that I don't that I'm not responsible for. I'm only organizing this entire process. But
Yeah.
Olivia, what are your current challenges? I'm sure it's not easy to, even though you already accomplished a lot, but I don't think it's easy to get the recognition for your work you need. And what are the challenges right now you need to overcome?
Um, so the challenges, I think the biggest challenge right now is regulatory. The African landscape are, well, not Africa. Let me say maybe East Africa. It is fragmented. You'll find that it's not like maybe that when your product has a CE mark, then you can market it all over Europe. If it has an FDA, then you're able to access so many markets that are open to you. So most of the African thing is quite are fragmented. That even yeah, that you need clearance in each country and all that. So which is quite a very expensive and long process to get authorization for the market. So I think that is one of the challenges, one of the biggest challenges that we're facing right now. So you'll find that you have to aim for an FDA or a CE. And what that means is maybe you have to establish in some of those countries so that you're able to chase that mark accreditation. So the regulatory clearance is one of our biggest challenges right now. And then also, yeah, the fact that with the rise of AI, not being regulated, not
Mhm.
being under regulated, and like there are a lot of gray areas around it. You don't know how far you need to go to in validating. So those gray areas are quite a challenge for us. So you find yourself doing too much and yet you're not so sure about it. What else? Maybe the other point would be about supply chain. Yeah, that's figuring out the supply chain, because in the long run that affects the cost of the product. We don't want to introduce an expensive product which is not going to be utilized, and thus we are not going to be able to make the impact that we started out in the first place to do. So figuring out the supply chain, doing local production, but then sourcing of the materials, and the supply chain, which has a final impact on the cost of the price, on the cost of the product, yeah, is our biggest challenge right now.
So what is the price you're targeting at for the African or the Uganda market, and when do you expect to be market ready?
Yeah, we are looking at at availing our product at say $50,
Hmm.
and that is our target is still end of this year.
Hmm.
Hmm.
So we have a lot we are figuring out, and we are in the final stages. End of this year, we should be able to have a product at about $50.
Hmm.
I would have another question about a product overall. How do you ensure that the technology remains user-friendly for non-specialists or healthcare workers in remote areas? Do you talk to them? Do you evaluate all the time? Or how do you know what they need in the app?
Oh, okay. Yeah, that is an interesting question, which I love to talk about. So we have done various iterations. Like I told you, we began quite some time ago. So we have done need finding. It has been majorly designed with a human-centered design
Hmm.
approach, whereby with every iteration, we go back into the field and do usability studies and get their feedback and incorporate that feedback into the product. Because actually, we started with the idea of having a jacket, and yeah, if you're to check our
Hmm.
website, no, if you're to check most of our data online, it was around a jacket, a pneumonia jacket. But as we talked to the health workers and the people that it concerned, we
Hmm.
realized that it wasn't going to work for cleanability issues, for issues of comfort. So we kept iterating on such designs, and yeah, up to this final design. So we have had a lot of input from the users. Ideally, they have informed the design so that it is very intuitive, because we don't want to add more work. Instead,
Hmm.
we want to lessen their work, because when you look like at the doctor to patient ratio in Africa, it is so low. Doctor to patient ratio is so low. So we need to make their work easier
Hmm.
instead of adding more work to them by creating an intuitive design.
Wonderful approach.
Yeah.
Um, And this podcast is called Today and Tomorrow. We are talking a lot about today, but where do you see your vision? Where do you want to go with your company, with your product? Where do you see yourself in 10 to 15 years, or even in the next 5 years? What's your big vision for Mama Ope?
Yeah. Like I said, now my pneumonia is just one of the respiratory illnesses or the illnesses that are affecting the lower whatever. So we are looking at expanding our product to more markets such as Southeast Asia. Okay, from the sub-Saharan Africa to Southeast Asia, and then we also recognize that in markets such as the Western countries, Europe, USA, it is more pronounced among the elderly. So expanding our market, our product offering is one of the visions that we have, and also yeah, establishing in those markets. We are actually already working on another product to deal with TB
Hmm, cool.
and other related diseases, and AI product. Yeah,
Hmm.
Hmm.
so we hope to partner with. Companies such as Mayo Clinic and roll out these products in the yeah all of especially we are targeting the states and the UK, establishing those countries and be able to tap into those other markets. So yeah, that is our future vision. It is not just for Africa; it
Hmm.
is for the whole world. Yeah, because we noticed that healthcare is a challenge everywhere. We've been to Europe, we've been to the US, and noticed that yeah, healthcare is still a challenge, and there is a gap that we could be able to fill.
It's definitely one of the huge challenges for the next decades, and well, I really enjoy Mama Ope and what you are doing. What is your take on of the current global situation? Um, are you optimistic about our future?
Oh yeah, very optimistic, especially with the new trend in uh, with a new trend in technology. I think, of course, there are the downsides, but The role of us as innovators or optimists is to look at the bright side and how we can optimize what is available, especially now the current talk is AI. So how can we make the best of it without putting the people's safety in danger. So we are excited because technology is evolving at a very high rate, which makes the work easier. Yeah, so
Mhm.
I am excited about the trend, and I think we can do a lot with the evolving technology.
Mhm. That's
Yes,
And I think you are totally right. There's a lot to do. There's a lot of work, especially in regulations, as you told. But you have a vision that will change the world. And this is a wonderful vision. So thank you for your
thank
work.
you.
And
Welcome.
and really thank you. After talking to you, I really are much even more convinced that the decision of the jury for this year was the absolute right one. And
Yeah.
thank you, Mama Ope. And I wish you all the luck and that all your visions will become true.
Oh, thank you, Dayton.
And as we wrap up this episode, dear listeners and viewers, you got some very inspiring insights from Olivia today. Her work reminds us how technology and innovation can transform healthcare, touch lives in ways we might never imagine. And to be honest, for me, it's quite fascinating to see how solutions are evolving to make healthcare more accessible and more effective. If today's episode sparked your interest, don't forget to follow us for more stories that highlight impactful innovations. Thanks for joining today and tomorrow today. Thank you, Dieter. Thank you, Olivia. And a wonderful day to all of you.
Good day to you too. Thank you for the platform. Look forward to keeping in touch.
Always, hey, I'm always saying goodbye after saying hello. So bye.